Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I am so happy you're here watching and listening today. I have a great show planned with a special guest. It's going to be awesome. I'm a medium as well as a certified spiritual life coach. And my passion, my purpose is to help you live your best, your most unique, your most awesome life. And I do that through all sorts of ways. And today's special guest is an actress, and her name is Michaela Tremuta, and she is going to share with us some of the challenges she's experienced as an actress. She's also a singer. She's going to share some of these challenges, and as you can imagine, as an actress, the rejection that she's had to experience. And you know how all of us take rejection to heart? That we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about overcoming life challenges and continuing to move towards our dream and our goal, because we don't want to give up on that. We want to keep moving. Everybody does. So Michaela's here to offer us a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of hope. So Michaela, how are you today? Thank you so much for coming.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I've been very excited to join your radio show. I'm beaming.
We're going to have a great time. We're going to share some stories, and we're going to inspire people so that they realize they too can live their best lives.
Absolutely.
So tell us, what is the dream that you're working towards?
Great. So my dream currently is to be able to sing, act, and dance professionally and make a living.
And make a living. And do you hope to go to Broadway or be on TV and movies? What's your big one there?
That's definitely a dream. Broadway is the dream. It's not the goal, but the goal right now is definitely a national tour or a regional tour, some kind of touring company where it's professional and I can travel and do what I love at the same time.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? Because, we do have different variations of the dream. For some people, it's only one thing. And for others, it's, they'll just go where they need to go. And for you, you actually have a great dream because it's to perform wherever you can perform.
Yeah.
How perfect is that?
I know, right? Nice.
Yeah, it really is. And as an actress and everything you've done and your studies and your performances you've done, what have you learned about being an actor? What has acting actually taught you?
Yeah, acting has taught me how to be a human being. And that sounds very cliche, I guess, but it truly is. In order to be able to portray somebody else, so a character, you really have to know the tics of a human being, what a human being is, what they do, how every human being handles things, but most importantly, how you handle things. So acting, number one, has taught me who I am, because in order to play someone else, you first need to know who you are, because that's the foundation, and then you work off from that, because every character is a part of you. So it's been very interesting. I never really knew that until I started college, when I first started considering doing this as a profession, and now I think I have a good grasp on how to play somebody else. So, but it takes a long time to master, I guess. So, yeah, to be a human being for sure.
Yeah, and mastering things in life, it takes us our whole lives to master things, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness,
But
yes.
you said something very important, though, about knowing who you are before you can act as someone else. And it's the same thing with people's lives. They have to know who they are before they can become who they are even more.
Yep.
And when you've been learning about yourself, you've come across some interesting situations. Have you ever had to deal with, and I'm sure you have, deal with judgmental people, unsupportive people, self-involved people, negative people?
Oh, yeah. Yes, many negative people. Theater tends to draw some interesting people. That's not what I'm going to say. It's a very difficult profession to go into. It's very unknown. It's high and it's intense. It's about looks. It's mostly about looks and luck. And that's not an easy thing to go into in life. So definitely negative people I've come across, but you learn how to deal with it over time and you get used to it. It's like anything else, If you love it enough, you'll fight and you'll try to get positive.
That goes for life, too. Look at all these life lessons we're talking about. We didn't even know we were going there.
I know.
So when you've had these negative people, what have you done to be able to handle spending time with these critical people or nasty people? What do you do? What's your process?
Well, first, separate myself for sure. Definitely limit the time with the negative people as much as you can. A lot of us do have classes together, So as far as like the theater world goes, so some people in the theater world who are negative, you can't really get away from very easily because we're all together all the time. But so it's definitely limiting your time, definitely walking away if something negative is said about somebody else, or if something negative is said about the major, or something that the situation that is occurring. Do a lot of breathing, a lot of self-checking in, and realize that you can only do so much and you can't control every little thing that's happening. You just kind of have to breathe and let it go. It's not easy, easier said than done, still working on it. But yeah, you have to try to remain positive and realize you can't change them. That's how they think. This is what they're going to say. And you're going to have to deal with it. Like that comes with anything, you know?
Yes, and another good life lesson from Michaela, you can't change them. You have to let them be who they are, and you can only take care of yourself and your own responsibilities. Now, have you ever had something happen where you took whatever happened personally? Did somebody say something to you once or twice that you ended up taking personally?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. More than once. Definitely 3 years ago, I believe, I was at a musical theater competition for singing. It's called the National Association of Teachers of Singing. And there's like different categories of different competitions for different sections of whatever, college kids who sing, who are in a music degree. And I got a bunch of papers of feedback from all of the judges who judged my, singing. And one of the comments was that my eyes were too big and that I needed to do something about that. So yeah, that was definitely one that has stuck with me as far as something that's been negatively said and that I've taken personally, because that's something I truly can't change. I mean, if they were critiquing my actual singing and said, hey, maybe you can add vibrato to this note, or maybe make sure you're on the pitch on this note, like whatever, great, that's what we're doing. But this was about my look, which again goes back to what theater is about, is so much about look. And there's a lot of that you can only have so much control over. And I definitely can't change my eyes. So
yeah. And so did it take you a while to get past that rejection and that criticism?
Oh, yeah. I definitely became very insecure about my eyes and tried to make them smaller on purpose. I like squint, like I tried to like squint a lot. I still fall into the trap of like squinting sometimes. So I'm like, I feel like my eyes are too big. Like they just like reveal everything that I feel, you know, which is supposed to be a good thing for acting, being a human, but it really got to me. And it honestly affected me up until like last semester in my college career. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Like I get more compliments than anything about my eyes, and eyes are the window to your soul. So now I've finally put it aside and I've said, whatever, like that's one person's opinion. It can just fade away.
And we can't, something, and it is interesting too, because we do take things personally that so frequently have nothing to do with us. Or in this case for you, I mean, it's literally a criticism as to a feature in your body that you can't change. And it can really bother us when somebody's critical about how we look, and then even it carries in further about what we think and how we feel. And have you ever had some people who were very critical about your skills? Did you feel like people were ever putting you down?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And not just colleagues. I mean, I've had teachers that have put me in awkward situations in front of my colleagues as far as putting down my skills and my abilities. And it's very demeaning, and you feel very just trapped in a sense, because yes, they are an adult, and yes, they are technically right in that moment, and it's hard. And part of it is they're trying to help you, because this is how the real world is. Like, it's not, peaches and roses where everything is great and happy and like everyone's going to love you and love your work. Like, you're going to be criticized, but there are ways to handle it and there are ways not to handle it. And there's a line, and the line shouldn't be crossed. So I've had moments where that line has been crossed and I've had to come back from it and, rebuild and remind myself, check in that, again, one person's opinion, they're trying to help, but some things take with a grain of salt. Some things listen to. Yeah.
Yes. So life lesson again from Michaela. I'm going to call this the life lesson show.
I know.
It's all about, we're going to let go of things that don't apply to us.
Right.
We're going to let go of things that we can't do anything about, and let go of things that we shouldn't be taking personally. It's a very important thing to do. When you had people who were negative and crappy, and did you ever question if you were on the right path? Did you ever say to yourself, you know what, maybe this is too hard. Maybe I'm not good enough. Did you ever do that?
Oh yeah, I do at least like twice a day still, for sure.
And how
No,
do you get out of that?
yeah, I don't know, it's so interesting, but I feel like when you have a passion that you're really going for, that's like supposed to happen. I don't know. I believe in like things happen for a reason. And I feel like in order to really love something and really want it, there has to be that like thinking that it might not work out or thinking that it's the wrong thing as well. I feel like that comes with it, because if it's all perfect, I feel like it's not really real. It might be fake, or it might not be, supposed to be in your life. So definitely, I mean, I love all my teachers and colleagues. Like, I've gotten great training at Fredonia, and like, I'm happy where I am, but in order to get to where you want to be, you need to go through those bad moments. And I'm definitely like happy that I went through them, because that's who I am. That's made me who I am today, So, and it's made me not realize to not give up. And
right.
I think.
So, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go.
We have a lot to say. I was just going to say, to adding to your life lessons, because you talked about doubting your dream, doubting your goal, and that it's a normal part of life.
Oh, yeah.
And that if you're not doubting it, now this is very important, if you're not doubting it, then it may not be the right dream, and it may not be the right goal. So to recognize that these questions that we have inside are actually good things to let us know, yes, you're on the right path. Yes, you're clarifying what you want to do. You want to get there, and you're doing it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Look, you go with your lessons tonight. And you also talked about you believe everything happens like it's supposed to happen, which I talk about all the time. So even the negative things that happen are there for a purpose and a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. You've got so many good lessons here. When I'm thinking about all of these things, and the path you've been on and all the stuff you've been doing, and you're really committed to your dream because you're willing to look at yourself. You're willing to question yourself and say, hey, which way am I going to go? How am I going to do this? Did you ever lose your way and do something or try to meet somebody else's expectations rather than staying true for yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah. When I was in middle school, I had a very hard time with my weight. I'm not sure why. No one ever told me I looked odd or anything, but I think when you're in that time in your life, it's the hormones, you're going through a lot, whatever. So I had that kind of deep turn in my life then, and it kind of continued on until my freshman year of college, where I broke my foot because I exercised too much. Because I was worried about coming to college and being in a theater program where it's all about looks and comparing yourself to others and how you look compared to them. Are you going to get the same roles as them? All of this kind of stuff. And that all comes with the major, unfortunately. And I think that was a big wake-up call in so many ways in life. It definitely made me question if this is the right thing for me, because if I couldn't get that, I guess you could say, problem in your life fixed, then that would be an issue for a very long time. But luckily I did get help, and I have self-checked in and realized that no, I don't need to exercise every minute of every moment to, be this perfect whoever I think is going to be different than who I am now. You are unique. You have enough to offer. You are worth it. So you kind of have to again, go through those hard times to know and to be who you are, to figure out who you are. So that was definitely a huge moment, going right into college, right into the major. And for the first time realizing that, oh, wow, this might not be for me. But luckily we got through it, and I healed. My foot healed. Took 9 weeks. Not the best 9 weeks. Had to stay out of dance class. Couldn't really do much. Couldn't really participate in my acting classes, but still wanted to be there. I still showed up. So I think
Yeah,
that was
so you were so committed to your dream and your goal that you just lost your way just briefly and
yeah,
overexercised to the point of injury.
right.
But as it turned out, being the Life Lessons from Michaela show, you recognized what was going on, and
Yeah,
you realized that you couldn't necessarily please everyone or some standard, that you have to actually accept yourself.
right,
And it's like you kind of woke up in a way. You had a little awakening to say,
yeah,
yeah, this is it. This is what I'm doing.
right.
And when you were learning about yourself in that time,
Mm.
and I hear you saying so many really positive statements, like affirmations to yourself. Did any one particular affirmation come out of that for you? Something you say to yourself with some regularity to help you get back on your path of who you truly are?
Hmm. That's a good question. Ooh,
Oh,
this is a hard one. Wow. I think definitely you are in control of you. You are the only one who can fix yourself. You are the only one. You are supposed to love yourself. Like you, at the end of the day, you only have you in your life, and that's like a selfish statement, but it's true. Like in reality, you are supposed to love yourself the most. And you can't do that. If you can't do that, you can't be in this major, especially in this major. And I told
hmm.
myself that, and I was like, you know what? It's time. Like, and especially as a human, like, and just in general in life, not even in this major, like you, at the end of the day, no one can fix you. You have to take the initiative. So it was definitely like, okay, Michaela, let's go. It's time. Like, you are cut out for this. This is just a minor bump. There are bumps in everything. Like, get up, wipe the sweat, blood, and tears off, and let's go. Like, it's time to get moving.
Yes. And
So
another
yeah.
important lesson there, loving yourself.
Yep.
And it really is all about you. And actually, as I was writing my book, I was thinking about putting a chapter on there. It's all about me, the name of the chapter,
Hmm.
because it is about ourselves. We're all living our lives in our own heads. And our perceptions are what make us step out there and try to please somebody else or do
Hmm.
what we think is expected from us. And when we come right back into that self-care and that self-love, that's when we stay on the right path. Have you found yourself since that time really taking care of yourself, your health, your thought patterns, all of those things?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. In a way different way than I did before. I mean, yoga, I was like, I don't like yoga. 3 years ago, I didn't want anything to do with yoga. I watched those classes. I would see people go and I was like, you guys are crazy. Like, I don't want to stretch all day. I want to go on the treadmill and run 8 miles really fast. You know what I mean? But then I started doing it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is honestly very, very eye-opening in so many ways. This is very relaxing. This is helping me connect to me. I've never felt so grounded in my life until I started yoga, and like definitely reaching out to my family members more, because I go to a college that I'm from, and I kind of tried to like avoid them a little, but talking to family members, talking to other actors, talking to other people in the field, and it just helped me it opened up me in so many ways, for sure.
Yeah, it's like you reclaimed yourself, you reclaimed your power, and you're very
Yeah.
balanced
Yep.
now. Now, I do want to ask you, have you ever had a situation where you felt like you were abused or attacked, emotionally attacked? Okay, so emotional kind of things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely more than once. Let's see. It was like sometime around last year, I was in an acting class. I was doing a monologue, which is a little excerpt of a play, just some text, some dialogue. It's from Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. It's Kate monologue, and Kate is the like crazy like woman character who kind of like doesn't follow the rules, and she's not really ladylike, and so this monologue was very like intense and not ladylike. So it was very difficult to portray because I like to think of myself ladylike and not like kind of crazy. So no offense to her character, but she's a little, Um, so I was trying to do this monologue, whatever, it was going fine. But then my teacher, who knew me very well because I am from this town and I go to the college to get my degree, he kind of used information that he knew about me against me in the room and sort of tried to get a reaction out of me in order to do this monologue. But it didn't really go the way it should have, I believe. It definitely took an unhealthy turn. I began to sob very uncontrollably, which has never really happened to me before. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't really know. I felt embarrassed. It was in front of my whole class. And then I just ended up leaving the room and no one came after me, which was also very hard. It was a lot of emotions at once. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what he was trying to do. All I was trying to do was do this monologue, but the constructive criticism wasn't really constructive. It was just criticism in like a very bad way. Very much like method acting, where if anybody knows the Heath Ledger movie, The Dark Knight, where he played the Joker, he definitely like went into that character very in an unhealthy way. And that kind of like felt what my professor was trying to do with me. And that just didn't work clearly. So definitely that moment I distinctly will remember, mostly where I felt very emotionally abused, especially in front of a whole room of people who I know I can trust, but it just felt, you felt alone and I can't even figure out what I felt because it was so, it's like a blur now, So
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of people in the world who feel attacked and feel emotionally abused.
right.
Somebody says something and people who are truly abusive. And it can be very difficult to handle because it's so hard to know what we're experiencing when we're experiencing it. All we
Right.
know is we feel this dismay and this embarrassment, this anger, this sadness, and we don't know what to do with it. And
Yeah.
sometimes we start to question ourselves too. We start to think, oh, what did I do? Maybe I should have done this. Maybe they're right and I'm wrong. And it can knock you out of your balance again too. What
Absolutely.
did you end up doing after this situation?
I talked to a lot of people. My mother works at the Fredonia State as well, and she's a voice teacher, and she's had many students in the musical theater program that I am in, and I ended up calling a lot of them because they had this teacher when they went to Fredonia, and I talked to them, and I was like, I just don't know what I did wrong. Like, should I not be in this major? Is this not cut out for me? Is this what it always is like? Like, am I going to go into an audition? They're going to ask me to they're going to try to work with me on something, and is this what the outcome is? Because if it is, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I can't really handle that. And they definitely talked me through it. I talked to my voice teacher. I just talked to a lot of people in my circle, as you would say, and kind of got affirmation that no, like, this is the way he handled it, and you can't control that. Like I said before, you can't change what he said to you. All you can do is like take the positive things out of it, realize that yes, you reacted a certain way. Don't judge your feelings. Feelings are okay. Just don't act like it didn't happen, but don't let it drain you. Don't let it bring you down. This is just one little moment, again, one bump where you can get over. And luckily I talked to him as well, and we were able to talk some things through, and it helped me really like learn how to confront, because it is not easy to confront a person at anybody. It's not easy to confront.
Now, we only have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
So in a quick tip, do you have a quick tip of something that you think is important for people to live their best lives?
Oh, such a hard question. I would just say be respectful. Honestly, we need to be respectful. We need to be respectful and kind. It's all about kindness. Opening the door for someone, smiling at someone. You have no idea how it can affect them. And you have no idea what they're going through that day. You have no idea what people are going through. Everyone's going through something, So definitely and just being respectful, knowing what to say, when to say it. Yep.
Yeah, just be nice to each other, and be kind and all of that.
It goes a long way.
And being, knowing who you are helps,
Right.
to do that too. So, we just got like a minute and a half left, which is awesome. If you wanted to contact Michaela Tremuta, you can find her on Facebook, Michaela Tremuta. Michaela, thank you so much for visiting here and being here with us today.
Yes.
It has been awesome to have you here. And everyone, listen to this recording again, because did you hear all these life lessons? And the lessons from Michaela today are amazing, and how to live your life better, and how to live the life you want to live, and how to create the life you want to to create the life you deserve to have, not a crappy life, okay? And so you want to be true to yourself, and live your life. I mean, live it. Stand in your power like Michaela did. Now, Michaela has had some great successes. She's got some good roles coming up. She's going to be performing all over the place. So follow her on Facebook and you can see what she's doing. And when she becomes famous, you can say you saw her here first.
Oh,
So
goodness.
thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody, for watching and listening tonight. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this was Creating an Inspired Life. You have a great week and stand in your power, and I will talk to you next week. Goodbye.